Like that watch, it's in effect until 11, correct?
Correct. And there may be a chance they'll expand that, at least for some of the counties, Brian. That's because we're expected to get more bands come in even throughout the course of the night. Of course, the heat of the day is what helps drive these storms to get stronger. As Brian's moving around the radar, I'm going to show you where the watch is, and it's all of us in yellow, and it all extends back to the west. And then we have warnings out where the boxes are, or these polygons. Of course, there have been warnings up closer to where the circulation is making landfall. But we have a tornado warning until 9:30, and we're going to be on until 9:30 unless it gets canceled beforehand or more get issued, and we'll just continue. But this is the area that's affected that Brian was tracking out, and it does kind of clip a little bit of the county just to the north there in Seminole, and also just right up to the North County Lake line with that tornado warning. And again, in that area, if you're in this area, you need to take shelter immediately if you haven't done so already. Here's the storm. Give you a little synopsis while Brian is getting his bearings with the radar, and we're going to track him out more and show you a little more what's going on around him. This storm has continued to drive toward the northeast, kind of a north jaunt more than northeast, but it's falling into this trough. And I say falling into it because, you know, ridge of high pressure is like a mountain of air over the top of you. You can look at it as like a mountain. It's just a huge area of a bubble of air. But when we have the opposite, a trough, it's kind of like a ditch. And it falls right into that ditch. And that's why it's zipping up along that path. And hopefully will even increase forward momentum, because the sooner it's out of here, the better it is for all of us. But it is going to be making landfall very soon. You can see the center of circulation. I'm going to get a little closer too, because it was very impressive earlier with a very well-defined eye. It's closing up a little bit, but you see how it's just shrinking. That often shows signs of intensification more. When you have a broad eye and then it kind of starts to contract on itself, usually that's a little bit of strengthening. Of course, when it fills in, it's kind of hard to tell once it does that. But we can see all the convection, the showers and storms circling all the way around the center. They're showing signs that it's strengthened too, and that's why the winds have come up to 80 miles an hour. Maybe even get up a little higher than that before it makes landfall, but it doesn't have much time. It's almost there. And it's continued to go up toward Dog Island or up toward Alligator Point. That's where it'll probably make landfall. And I'm focusing on that just because a lot of people are concerned, but what we need to be concerned about here for us is that these bands will continue to be spawned off of it and rotate away from the center. We're getting one right now that's causing these tornado warnings, and then we're getting another one that'll be right behind it. It's stronger even right now in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's making its way toward the west coast. 80-mile-an-hour winds, northeast moving at about 14 if you're tracking along. Hurricane Hermine is very powerful now, and it will continue to go inland. Once it gets inland, it'll start to weaken, and it'll eventually get to a tropical storm as it moves toward Georgia, but we're still going to get effects. Even Friday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we're going to still have windy conditions and the possibility of tropical storm force winds continuing for some of us until it gets up here toward the Outer Banks. And let me go ahead and show you that tropical storm force wind field. What you're seeing is the yellow again. The yellow is tropical storm force winds, and it comes through half of central Florida, at least the edge of it. The yellows or the oranges, it starts showing up 58-mile-an-hour wind or greater. Tropical storm force winds are greater than 39 miles an hour, and that's sustained winds. We're not talking about gusts. We're already getting gusts greater than that, or Brian told you about a 61-mile-an-hour gust. And as that moves away, the wind will start to subside because see, Flagler is still in it. Even at 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday, we still have a possibility for tropical storm force sustained winds there, and the rest of us are still going to be very windy as that even moves away. And tropical storm force winds sustain that long, anything that's outside laying around and stuff, it could just blow everywhere and cause even minor damage because that stuff gets picked up and could go through your screens. If you don't have that stuff inside already, it could cause some more problems. Showing you the 7-day because we haven't showed it in a while, just to give you an idea of how the conditions do eventually improve and get back more seasonal conditions as we go into Labor Day, which is good. About 40 to 50% chance of afternoon showers and storms, and 90 degrees. That's pretty typical for this time of the year. We've been a lot cooler because of the rain and the thunder and the clouds, but hopefully we'll have power back for some of the people without power and won't have any long periods without power, because getting back to 9 degrees, that could just be terrible. Yeah,
it would be definitely uncomfortable, to say the least. I'm going to stay with this tornado warning until 9:30. Mike, watching 3 areas. Yeah. Not as defined, but as we've been watching, they've been coming up and going down, but it's in the same line that you were showing us. So as we take a look at the radar, Storm Tracker 13 Doppler radar, we've got one that is north of Apopka. If we could take a look at the radar, we'll go ahead and circle those areas.
one thing
for you.
Brian mentioned, these go up and down so quickly. They don't have to last very long, and it's hard to get even confirmation of the actual tornado because somebody has to go out there and visually see it, and it could be up and down in less than 30 seconds, and just boom, cause some damage. That's why you need to be safe.